Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Measuring Customer Satisfaction. I'm Rachel and I'll be your webinar chairperson for today. Delighted to hand over the baton for the second part of our webinar today to Mark Lockyer from Core Miner. So I'll make you the presenter.
Thanks. Okay guys, just checking you can see my screen.
I can, yes.
Okay, so for the next 10 minutes or so, just want to talk to you about automated analytics and taking really your CX and customer satisfaction, how you measure that to the next level. It will be good in the back of your minds whilst I'm talking, just to think about the challenges that we all have when we're looking at measuring CSAT and the challenges that we have in our customer experience programs. So things like our constantly declining response rates. It's difficult to get people to respond to the surveys when we send them out. And then when we do get the results, how long does it take us to get that feedback back into the business? So quite often it's weeks and months, and at the quarterly business reviews, suddenly out come the results. And arguably it's a little bit too late to do something about some of the information that you get. Then there's the internal debate on what you ask, when you ask it, what to ask and how you ask. And realistically, is the emotion that you're scoring accurate days or weeks after the event? So if somebody gets a survey, the time lag before they respond, how accurate do they score their emotion than if they actually scored their emotion right at the time of the interaction? And then, of course, multi-channel engagement. It struggles to provide feedback in our programs because we don't have any mechanisms that will give us statistically viable samples when we're looking at scoring interactions across web chat, across our emails, across social media, and across telephone calls. So with all that said, what Core Miner's clients do is have 100% view on every analytical, on every interaction, sorry, that happens within the business. So regardless of media, whether it's email, whether it's chat, whether it's social, all of those interactions can be loaded into the Core Miner application for analysis. And the analysis can be for CSAT, for agent quality, for dissatisfaction, and a number of other client-specific KPIs. There is no limit to the KPIs that we use in our businesses now, so there should be no limit to our analytics products that also should be able to score on these multiple KPIs. So if we've ingested into a product like Core Miner 100% of our interactions, for our program, we suddenly started to have the ability to analyze 100% of interactions, not the 4% for a quality perspective, not the 1 or 2% for our response rates in surveys. We're actually able to analyze 100% of interactions. So if we can do that, we can start to understand how people engage through our different channels. And we have no control over those channels. Consumers will tell us how they want to engage and will choose the channel of choice for that particular moment. The customer decides how and when they want to engage. So this creates us massive problems in our industry, and we need to spin that positively. It's not going to change. That situation will only continue to get more prevalent as we move forward. So we need to take the opportunity to connect to the client's channel of choice. We need to embrace their decision and leverage the interaction across channels to gain valuable insight on client behavior. If we can embrace what they do, then we can get more insight from every interaction. But we need to be cognizant that there will be more unstructured data and conversations than ever before. And we need to collect the information, synthesize it, and analyze it. Your customer experience and your CSAT programs must analyze across all channels to be valid. It's very similar to the charts. If we, a few years ago, we only looked at record sales in stores. Now we have to look at the multiple ways in which people buy tracks through the internet, through stores, and various other areas. Our CSAT program needs to be the same. We need to make sure we take control and analyze all of our interactions and not just historically the mainstay of surveys. So, why do customers contact you? There are loads of ways that people contact you. We're showing just a few here on this slide, but the key thing is that the way that people engage in different parts of their customer journey is very different. But we now have survey apathy. We do not want to receive multiple surveys in multiple parts of our customer journey with your organizations. But yet every touch point is important to our business, although it might not be important to our customers. So you need to be sure that the right time to survey gets you the right responses in our traditional methods of measuring customer experience. With interaction analytics, because you're not asking the customer to feedback, you're analyzing the actual content across each of these touch points, it means you can see what's happening and analyze what's happening at every single point without annoying the customer. So, what you're going to do to keep momentum within your program. When we see people in our industry that are looking to increase momentum in their customer experience program because the numbers have got stale, they need to, and quite often will, look towards interactions to ensure the validity of their customer experience program. Your CX program needs to continue momentum and get increased adoption across multiple areas of the business. So, we can do this by analyzing everything. We want to analyze it in as near real time as possible. I mentioned at the beginning that we struggle to get the results into our business for days, weeks, and sometimes months back into the operation to affect a change. Our customers at Cool Miner are analyzing every contact regardless of channel. And this information is available to them the very next day, already analyzed, already synthesized. We already understood most of the behaviors that trigger certain traits with our customer experience program. And we know what leads to a good customer experience and good agent quality scores. But behaviors are exhibited in various different ways, in the way we talk, the speed, the language, the amount of silence, and many more attributes within an individual interaction. If we analyze all of the behaviors, and there are many, and by the way, different measures apply to different departments and they apply to different industries. But if we can score all of these behaviors within the interaction from many perspectives, then we can roll it up into a category score. And this is what we want. We want to be able to provide scores on interactions. If we can provide a score, a number, it means we have a benchmark. It means we have something that we can work on to affect a change, to move the needle. So in this example, we can see that there are lots of behaviors that lead up to a particular sentiment score. It could be a CSAT score. It could be an agent engagement score. There are multiple scores that we can build up based on behaviors for an individual interaction. And if we can do that, then we can do it across 100% of interactions. And therefore, our sample rate is 100% and not less than 4%. And it's not just the scores for the customer journey. We can also do this for agent quality monitoring. So again, within our business, we only really quality monitor the blah, blah, blah calls, the calls that are right in the middle of our distribution curve that are generally okay. But we have no pointers to look at the calls that are outliers that are exhibiting really, really good behavior or really poor behavior. But if we analyze 100% and our system can tell you where to go looking on those outliers, we've done that so that the quality monitoring agents know where they need to focus their time and effort. But also another area that we might want to look at is risk, because the risk scores actually are an indicator for our customer experience. All of these things can be analysed on a single interaction and then of course rolled up. This analysis must now be delivered into the operation. It needs to be delivered into the operation without manipulation from our clever analysts within our business. Things that can be automated where we have a high degree of confidence should be posted back to the operation within 24 hours. The more complex areas that need further analysis and more drill downs can be done by our analysts in the coming days and weeks. So now, for the first time ever, we can have lots of these scores and KPIs posted into our team leaders' dashboards, into potentially an agent dashboard, managers, and quality management, and all posted within a few hours of the interaction happening. So if we have this information to hand, we can start to look at our customer experience ecosystem. First of all, we send the surveys out and we get some results. Then we can use interaction analytics to determine multiple engagement scores. We can then further analyze and make quick changes within hours. We can deliver more accurate and defined strategic biased insights into the board, into the C-suite, quicker than ever before. So we can take both results from the surveys and the analytics and compare and contrast and adapt them to ensure the streams are calibrated to reflect exhibited behaviours. They can also be corroborated by our quality monitoring team that have also heard everything with a human ear or read through any textual-based interaction. And then to complete the area, we can reassess elements of your engagement, and having turned unstructured data into empirical scores, you do have the validation to refine your customer experience program and your customer satisfaction metrics and the drivers for CSAT and how you would go to affect a change. So if this is all in one place and we can give the CSAT scores to individual interactions, we can plot a customer's journey. We now have the information to show how good we are at engaging across multiple touch points without having to go and rely on a few survey responses. So we can do this for an individual customer within the application. We can do it for a particular channel within the application. We can do it for rolled up scores. So if we can do it for an individual, then we can roll this up for an entire client portfolio or a demographic within your business. If we can do it for your entire client base and we're able to look at their customer journey across multiple channels, surely we can now plot the optimal path with conviction for a single interaction to understand at a single touch point what we should be doing to make that call or that interaction the optimal path for success. But we can also do it across a multi-channel customer journey, end to end. It's only possible if you recognise that analysing single-digit responses is not providing the required feedback in today's customer experience programs. Those analysing and scoring 100% of interactions have stolen the march on the rest, and they have unrivaled confidence in their customer experience and CSAT scores and other CX metrics and KPIs because they are convinced, based on empirical data, that they are nearing the optimal path for their customer journey. And that's all I have to say. So thanks very much for listening.
So we've reached the top of the hour, unfortunately, and I just want to say thank you very much to our two speakers today, to Maurice Pentel from the Customer Experience Foundation, thank you very much, and to Mark Lockyer from Core Miner, thank you very much as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.